Savinho's growing influence has put Jack Grealish's place under threat, and there were some interesting comments from Pep Guardiola after the game.
It's easy. As much he looks himself, and we see the contention, so they have to compete themselves. And now Savinho is in better shape and everything than Jack. And that's why I play Savinho. I wanted Jack for the travel. Yeah, I want it. But I try to be honest with myself. What happened with Savinho delivery in the box is higher than maybe the other wingers in that position, and they have to fight. You can say, okay, now it's unfair. Okay, if you decide you think about that, it's fine. They have to prove, okay, I'm going to fight with Savinho to deserve to play, in that position, and every single day, and every single week, and every single month, and that is because I fought a lot for him. I fought a lot to be here, to come on, do it again. And I know I can do it, but I saw him. I saw him. I saw you level, and I want that. Every single training session, every single game. You know what? Savinho, there is someone in this room that Savinho don't deserve, right now doesn't deserve to play? No, deserve. So that's why I play.
Interesting. What would you make of that if you were Jack Grealish? I'm thinking about the Calvin Phillips and comments that Pep Guardiola made about him, and perhaps that was very detrimental to him. Do you think Jack Grealish, though, is the sort of player who will seize this and go, right, I'm going to show him? Because he ended by saying, I know what he can do.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. I thought to have him here.
Of course, and I think we all know what he can do. I think you watch him back to his Aston Villa days, the quality that he's got. And we've seen it for Manchester City as well. I do think he's struggled a little bit with injuries, hasn't he? He's been sort of in and out of the team. And Pep Guardiola clearly wants that competition between the two players. They're completely different players as well. So I think it's one of those that you could play Savinho in one game that you want specifically his skills. You can play Jack Grealish in another game that you want his skills. They can both play in different positions. We saw Jack Grealish playing in more of a central role as well. So he comes across as the player that's like, OK, I'll fight for this. And I'm sure Pep Guardiola's had that conversation with him privately to say, this is what I want from you. So, yeah, I think we'll see the best of Jack Grealish again.
But the counter-argument here, Stephen, is that Jack Grealish is a kind of a wonderful off-the-cuff, free-form footballer.
Yeah.
And you try and fit that into a City side that, yes, they can play their nice little touches, but it is very formulaic. Inevitably, you're going to take away what Jack Grealish really is.
To an element, but I think there's I keep on hearing this about Cole Palmer. He's given a freedom. He's not. He's given a structure to play in. But when he gets the ball, then he's given a freedom. But what you've got to have is, you've got to have a structure that allows you to find freedom. And that's what Cole Palmer's doing at Chelsea at the moment. He doesn't wander around the pitch. He doesn't just aimlessly go off. He used to, but now he stays in a position, and he's actually finding that he's probably got more energy in a game. He's more consistent with how he's playing. Well, Grealish can do that within that system. I look at that interview and it's very clear. He hasn't just come out and said something about Jack Grealish. The question has been asked to him, where's Jack Grealish fit into this, or why isn't he playing, and what's your thoughts on him? And he's been very open and honest. I think that's a very honest thing, because the context of the discussion, or what he says in the answer is I want this guy. He's a great player. He's a top player. When he was critical about Calvin Phillips, he never backed it up with any of that. He basically just said he's not in good shape. There was nothing else to it. He's actually giving Jack Grealish a message there that I want you at this football club. You're my player. I've fought tooth and nail to get you here, for you to be part of this Manchester City squad. I'm backing you with everything I've got. Please just show me a little bit more. Give me more, because I'm backing you. The other side of it is as well, there's almost an element to the answer where he's just saying, you've got a little bit complacent. So you need to change your attitude to get back into this City team. But I don't think he's the only player who's got complacent.
Yeah, OK. If we look where City are in the table, 6th, they're only 2 points behind Chelsea in 4th, 3 behind Forest, who obviously have that game in hand of them. But then if we look the other way, they're only a point above Bournemouth, 2 above Aston Villa. So do they need to go into the window, do business? Guardiola has said yes. And if they do the right bit of business, what are they looking at for this season?
I think, first of all, they want their players back fit and available as quickly as possible. They seem to get one back and another one gets injured. So I think that's key for them and to keep those players back fit. But, yeah, of course, you look at straight away, you look at the Rodri position in that midfield area. They need to try and strengthen in there, bring somebody in that's going to be able to come straight in and I suppose, affect that midfield area and add balance to it. Ideally, probably another defender. And again, ideally, probably another forward, but it's always difficult in January, isn't it, to not overpay and to bring in the right sort of players. But Pep Guardiola said himself that he wants to strengthen, he wants to add, because, of course, top four is a minimum for Manchester City. It seems bizarre, doesn't it? Yeah. Saying top four, how many years have we gone and said, well, it's Manchester City's title, whereas now we're saying, well, for them to make sure that they get into those top four positions, they probably do need to strengthen.
I think this could be City's hardest window that they've got. And the reason being is, if Manchester City call, great, Guardiola, the club, the titles, everything that comes with it. But what's going to happen with these charges? Where's the club going to be? What's this contract going to look like? If you get charged and you end up with a points deduction, a relegation, whatever it might be, where does that leave my contract then? Because I don't want to sign for a club that's going to get relegated or who's going to potentially get charges. The other reason it's very difficult for them is if they are going to get charged and there's potentially a transfer window ban for them in the future, clubs will know that. The premium goes up. The players will also hold the club to ransom as well, knowing that they are desperate to get players through the door. This could be City's hardest transfer window that they ever have, trying to convince players that the charges aren't going to happen. Or if they do, there's a way for them to get out the contract. The contracts aren't as easy as come in, there's a 5-year deal, that's your wage. There's got to be so many little stipulations behind it and things along the line that you can get out of your contract if that's what happens. And the crazy, we haven't got a clue. We don't know what's going to happen.
No. I'll tell you what's going to happen in a moment, though, on the football show. Shall I?
Far away.